Hello everyone. Welcome to our 16th lecture. This lecture is based on transient stability. Okay. Earlier we have seen steady state stability. That means how to find out steady state stability limit of a system using graphical method as well as using mathematical equations. Okay, that we have seen. Okay, and also we have seen generalized equation for the steady state stability. That means if synchronizing power coefficient, that means del p by del L, if it is greater than 0, then the system is stable. Okay, now we will switch over to the transient stability. What is this transient stability? Transient stability is the ability of a system to remain stable under large disturbances like short circuit, line outages, generation or load loss. The evaluation of this transient stability is required for offline as well as for online. Okay, for offline we required study of this transient stability for planning and design. For online we require for load management, for emergency control as well as for security assessment. So that this study of this transient stability is important for offline study as well as for online management. Transient stability analysis deal with the actual solution of non-linear differential equation. Why it is solution of non-linear differential equation? We have seen swing equation. It is m d2 del by dt square is equal to pm minus pe or pi minus p. It is second order differential equation. Okay, now in steady state stability we have linearized this equation. Why we have linearized this equation? Because in that case it is we have applied load in small steps, so that we can, if we are applying load in small steps, so we can linearize the equation. So that's why study of that steady state stability is simple, as we can linearize that equation. While solution of this transient stability, as it is non-linear differential equation. Why this is non-linear differential equation? Because we are applying large loads, sudden application of load and sudden removal of the load, also large disturbances like short circuit. These all comes under transient stability, so we cannot linearize that swing equation. Okay, that describing the dynamics of the machine and their controls and interfacing it with the algebraic equation describe the interconnection through the transmission network. So we cannot linearize. So in transient stability we have to solve non-linear differential equation. As disturbance is large, this already I have discussed. As disturbance is large, linearizing analysis of the swing equation is not possible. Also, in transient stability, structural changes in this transmission network happens. That means what this means: before fault, during fault and post fault, the structural changes of the network happens. Because during the before fault condition was different, during fault again condition changes, after fault or post fault event condition the system parameters changes. So that means structural changes happens in the network due to fault condition. That's this is the reason. That's why solution of this non-linear differential equation or study of this transient stability is complex, and so we cannot use generalized equation to find out transient stability of a system like as we have used in steady state stability. Okay, stability can be established for a given fault by actual solution of the swing equation, while stability of a system can be established using actual solution of a swing equation and time taken for the fault to be clear, and that time is called as clearing time. Okay, now in transient stability we need to find out critical clearing time. We have studied in switchgear protection that clearing time is essential. What is that clearing time? In that clearing time we will consider closing time of breaker, opening time of the breaker, and considering all that breaker timings, the fault must be cleared before that clearing time. Okay, and if that clearing time is maximum clearing time, okay, if it is maximum, then it is called as critical clearing time. If it is maximum time, then it is called as critical clearing time. Critical clearing time is the maximum time available for clearing the fault before the system loses stability. Okay, in transient stability, this is very important. We need to find out clearing time or critical clearing time. Critical clearing time is the maximum time available for clearing the fault. And this we know, if our fault get clear before that clearing time, the system is stable. If fault is not clear before that, if fault is not clear within that given time, the system will become unstable. So clearing time is, with that clearing time we are finding out in transient stability, as it is very essential, because for each fault we have to study it. For each fault we have to find out the solution of a swing equation. Okay, so if fault is cleared within that clearing time, then the system is stable. If fault is not clear, the system will become unstable. Okay, so then we have seen that steady state stability is the ceiling of the system. Okay, transient stability is definitely lower than the steady state stability, because we have seen steady state stability is the ceiling of the system. But how to increase that transient stability? We are using auto reclosers. In the system, so that which enhances the transient stability. How it will enhance the transient stability? The breaker will check by opening the breaker whether the fault is cleared. If fault is not cleared, it will check in the first closing. Okay, first it is closed, it will open. Due to fault, the breaker get opens. Okay, now during that it will check, it will wait for a time, and if fault get clear, then it will wait for a while. Okay, if fault get clear, then again after some time it get closed. Okay, if again it will check whether the fault is cleared or not. If fault is cleared, then it will the system will maintain its stability, or the system will go on providing power to the receiving end. Okay, if fault is not clear, the auto recloser will open, and it will again check whether the fault is cleared or not. Okay, if fault is not cleared, then it will remain open. If fault is cleared, then it will close. That means 2 openings of the breaker is allowed to check whether the fault is cleared or not. In third, it is permanently open if it is not open, if it is not cleared. Okay, so generally in first opening of the breaker, the fault get clear. Okay, while in second opening, if it is not clear, it will remain permanently open, and the faulty line get disconnected from the system. Okay, now as we have seen, this solution of this non-linear differential equation in transient stability is difficult, because it is non-linear differential equation. So if we want to simplify that non-linear differential equation, then we have to do some assumption. We have to assume certain things to do the simplified to have a simplified procedure to find out the transient stability of a system. So first thing, for simplification of that non-linear differential equation, what we are assuming? We are assuming resistance of the system. First assumption is transmission line and synchronous machine resistances are neglected. That means resistance we are neglecting. Second thing is that damping term. Okay, damping term in the swing equation gives pessimistic result. Okay, that means effect of damper winding we are neglecting. Third assumption, first assumption is the resistance we are neglecting. Transmission line and synchronous motion resistance are neglected. Second assumption is that the effect of damper winding effect of damper winding is neglected. Again it gives pessimistic result, but we are simplifying the solution of a non-linear differential equation. Okay, so that's why we have to assume these things. Then third assumption is that rotor speed is assumed to be constant, and that is synchronous. Okay, mechanical input once it is changed remain to be constant. That means effect of governor action, effect of governor action we are neglecting. Effect of governor action we are neglecting. This also gives pessimistic result, because once mechanical input is changed, it is assumed to be constant. So effect of governor action we are neglecting. Fifth assumption is that generator is modeled as constant voltage source behind a transient reactance. Okay, now in this voltage behind transient reactance is assumed to be constant. That means E is assumed to be constant. E dash is assumed to be constant. That means here we are neglecting effect of automatic voltage regulator. What is this effect of automatic voltage regulator? Due to this automatic voltage regulator, it changes the field winding current, so that your excitation changes and the voltage will remain constant. Okay, due to changes in the load or any changes in the from input side or output side. Okay, so that effect of automatic voltage regulator, it is again neglected. Loads are modeled as constant admittances and observed into the bus admittance matrix. Loads are modeled as constant admittances and shunt capacitances are not difficult to account, or shunt capacitances are also neglected. Okay, so these seven are the assumptions for transient stability. Okay, first is resistance we are neglecting, effect of damper winding we are neglecting, then rotor speed we are assuming to be constant, generator voltage E dash is remain to be constant, generator is modeled as constant voltage generator is modeled as constant voltage source behind the transient reactances. Then loads are modeled as constant admittances. Effect of shunt capacitances is neglected. Okay, what we have missed? Mechanical input is assumed to be constant. So these are the seven assumptions. In transient stability. Okay, now still the solution of that swing equation is complicated. That means for each fault we have to find out that solution of swing equation, or for each machine we have to apply the point by point solution of a swing equation. That we'll see later on. But for single machine infinite bus system, means for if generator connected to infinite bus or infinite bus connected to the motor. Single machine infinite bus system means this is single machine infinite bus system, or generator connected to the motor. Okay, this is first, this is second, and this is third. Okay, now for these three cases, simple two machine system, we can find out the transient stability of this simple system using equal area criteria. Okay, so application of equal area criteria we will see, that is method of finding of transient stability of single machine infinite bus system. Okay, so that we'll see. For multi machine system, that general criteria is not available for finding on the transient stability of a system. So for single machine infinite bus system, equal area criteria is the method applicable to find out the transient stability of a system. This method is based on graphical interpretation of energy stored in rotating mass as an add to determine if the machine maintained its stability after disturbance. Okay, this method is applicable only to one machine connected to the infinite bus or a two machine system, because it provides physical insight to the dynamic behavior of a system. Now consider swing equation. Consider the swing. This we know, m d2 del by dt square is equal to pm minus p or pi minus p. Okay, this pm minus p is p. okay, or pi minus p, it is one and the same things. Now this pe, we know p is equal to p max sine of del. Okay, what is this p max? We know p max is equal to e into v by x. Okay, this we know, this already we have seen. Okay, now d2 del by dt square is equal to pa by m. This is equation number 1. Now in equal area criteria, as shown in figure 5, in an unstable system, if we consider unstable system, here del goes on. If we plot curve of del versus t, if del versus t, in this if del goes increases indefinitely, del goes on increasing. If time increases, if time increases, del goes on increasing, then definitely you know this system will become unstable. Okay, now if suppose del reaches to the maximum where d del by dt is equal to 0, and then if it oscillates, and after oscillation, if d del by dt is equal to 0, then the system will become stable. Okay, so this is unstable system. In stable, d del by dt is equal to, this is important, d del by dt is equal to 0. At any instant, if at any instant on the oscillation, if we are getting d del by dt is equal to 0, then the system will definitely become a stable system. In a stable system, del undergoes oscillation which eventually die out due to damping. From figure, it is clear that for the system to be stable, it must be that d del by dt is equal to 0 at some instant. This criteria, d del by dt, can simply be obtained from the equation number 1. Okay, so this we have seen, this equation number 1. Now to this equation, we have to apply this criteria, d del by dt is equal to 0. Now we will see after application of this what happens to this equation. Okay, now if I need to therefore I need to solve this equation number 1. Now I will multiply 2 d del by dt to the both side. Okay, if I am multiplying 2d del by dt to both side, then this will be 2d del by dt, again 2d del by dt. Okay, upon integration with respect to time, it gives, upon integration, this will be d del by dt square 2 by m integration del 0 to del pa d del. Okay, if I am integrating, it is 2 d del by dt. Okay, integration of this term will be 2 d del by dt. Then d del by dt in d del by dt is its square. Okay, this 1 by 2, this 2 will get cancelled, will get cancelled, and this will be integration of this pa, Okay, so del 0 to del. Okay, now we have solved this. Okay, so this is our velocity, delta omega, d del by dt. Okay, now this is square root under root of 2 by m integration from del 0 to del pa d del. This is equation number 3. This is equation number 2. Okay, now pa is pi minus p accelerating power, and del 0 is the initial power angle before the rotor begins to swing because of disturbance. The stability, d del by dt is equal to 0. Now this d del by dt is equal to 0, that means this term is equal to 0. So this term is equal to 0 means we are getting this del 0 to del pa d del. Okay, so this is del 0 to del pa d del. Now what is this? After solution, after getting solved different swing equation, we are getting integration of del 0 to del pa d del is equal to 0. What it means? It means area under integration means area under curve. Integration of area under curve P accelerating curve is if it is 0. If it is 0 means the system will become, because we have applied d del by dt is equal to 0. Okay, if area under the curve acceleration curve, if it is equal to 0, then the system is stable. Okay, so as we are calculating area under the curve, so this method is called as equal area criteria. For stability, the area under the graph of accelerating power Pa versus del must be 0 for some value of del. In other words, we can tell that if accelerating area under the graph must be equal to the deaccelerating area, or positive area must be equal to the negative area. This criteria is therefore known as equal area criteria for stability, as shown in figure. Now here you can see this is Pa versus this is Pa versus del curve. Pa versus del curve. Okay, this is initial operating point due to changes in the mechanical input. Our next point is B, and then this point is C. Okay, our equilibrium point will move from A to B, B to C. Okay, so this area is called as deaccelerating area, while this area A2 is called as accelerating area. Why this is accelerating area? Why this is deaccelerating area? Look here. Positive is accelerating area under the graph must be equal to negative deaccelerating area. अब इसको नेगेटिव क्यों बोला है, इसको पॉजिटिव क्यों बोला है? यहाँ दिस इज आवर PI मीन्स PM. This is PI is PM, mechanical input. So here mechanical input is greater than the electrical output. Okay, mechanical input is greater than the electrical output. So this is called as the accelerating area, while here electrical output is greater than the mechanical input in case of generator. Okay, so this is our accelerating area. Why accelerating area? Because electrical output is greater than mechanical input. Here mechanical input is greater than the electrical output, so it is deaccelerating area. So if these two areas are equal, then the system is stable. Okay, now area A1 is equal to A2. Now how to find out area? We'll write down the equation for area A1. Look here how to write down, because this you have to write in while solving the problems. Area A1. What is this area A1? Area A1 covers our from del 0 to del 1. From del 0 to del 1 area A1 is there. Okay, so integration from del 0 to del 1, which is greater? PI is greater or PM is greater? PI is greater minus PE. What is this PE? This PE is, again I will write del 0 to del 1, PI, P is P max sine of del d del. Okay, so this is our area A1. Now we have to write out equation for area A2. Area A2 varies from del 1 to del 2. Del 1 to del 2. Which is greater? This PE, this is our PE, na? PE is greater. PE minus PI. Okay, d del. P is del 0 to del 1. P is P max sine of del minus PI. Okay, d del. ठीक है. If these two areas are equal, area A1 is equal to area A2, then the system is stable. Now here we have find out, here we have put the values and we have find out. Okay, we have solved this integration and we are getting this. Upon simplification we are getting this thing. Okay, this you have to use in our problems. Okay, in simple ways, again I am repeating this. What is this equal area criteria? This equal area criteria is from del 0 to del, integration from del 0 to del PA d del. Okay, this means that area under the curve PA should be 0, which is possible only when PA is both accelerating and deaccelerating power. For a part of graph PM greater than PE, and for the other part PM, and for other part PE greater than PM. Okay, so in this case this is our PM, this is PE, this is PE, and this is our PM. Okay, so this both area must be equal. Okay. The area A1 represent the kinetic energy stored by the rotor during acceleration, and the area A2 represent the kinetic energy given up by the rotor to the system, and when it is all given up, the machine has returned to its original speed. It is noted that the kinetic energy involved in our expression is fictitious, as it is being calculated corresponding to the relative speed rather than the actual speed. So this is our equal area criteria. Again, now we will see how this equal area criteria works. For that we have to take one example. Okay, that example is that considering the synchronous motor connected to the infinite bus. Okay, we have considered this one machine system, single machine infinite bus system, that infinite bus connected to the motor, stability of a single machine connected to the infinite bus. Okay, we have considered this thing. So first I will read these 2-3 lines. Okay, these 3 lines. Consider a synchronous motor connected to the infinite bus. Initially, motor is supplying a mechanical load PM0 while operating at an power angle del 0. The speed is synchronous speed omega s. Neglecting losses, power input is equal to the mechanical load supplied. If the load on the motor is suddenly increased, that means sudden application of load or shaft load on the motor is increased to PM1, this sudden load demand will be met by the motor by giving up its stored kinetic energy, and the motor therefore slows down. Okay, for first 3 points, these 3 points I have dictated. Okay, now we'll see how it works. Okay, suppose this is our initial operating point. This point A is initial operating point. Angle del is del 0 initial angle. PM0 is initial mechanical input. Okay, after sudden application of shaft load, this shifted from PM0 to PM1. As it is shifted to PM1, what happens? This A will also shift. This is our initial equilibrium point. Okay, now here you can see that this is our PE, this is our PE, it is P max sine of del, and this is our PM. Okay, this is shaft load on the motor is increased. Okay, this is electrical input supplied. Okay, now in this case, as shaft load on the motor is increased suddenly, the motor will slow down. Why motor will slow down? Because we have sudden application of the load is there. So this PM is greater than PE. So this will cause rotor speed, that means rotor speed to decrease. Okay, that means speed will decrease. Why? Because sudden application of load is there. Okay, now as this is on the P curve, so the del will go on increasing, because the motor is in the deceleration state. Most motor is is in the deceleration state. Pm is greater than Pe. Most motor is deaccelerating. Del will go on increasing. Del will go on increasing. Okay. While this point is it will start moving from A to B. While moving here, speed is less than synchronous speed. Less than synchronous because speed slows down because of application of shaft load. Now at this point, at point B, you can see Pm is equal to Pe. Here Pm is equal to Pe. At this point Pm is equal to Pe. Okay. After this point, what happens? Again, due to inertia, del goes on increasing. Okay. Due to inertia, del goes on increasing. Now as it moves from B to C, from B to C, it is accelerating area. So accelerating area means here speed start to, as it is accelerating area, so speed will go up, and here at this point speed is equal to synchronous speed. Here is at this speed is equal to synchronous speed. As del reaches to this point where speed is equal to synchronous speed, del is locked and this is accelerating area, so del will start to decrease. Here del decreases from C to B. It is moving from A to B, then B to C, and then C to B. Okay. In this stage, speed is decreasing, del is increasing. Okay. From B to C, speed is increasing, and del is also increasing. Okay. At point C, speed is equal to synchronous speed. From C to B, from speed to B, as it is accelerating area, so speed again goes on increasing above synchronous speed. Okay. It goes on increasing above, as because this is accelerating area. At point B, what happens again? Pm is equal to P. Okay. At point B, Pm is equal to P. Now as it moves from B to A, it is deaccelerating area. Speed will go on decreasing, and here at point A, speed is equal to synchronous speed. Okay. So that means this equilibrium point will move from A to B, B to C, C to B, B to A, and likewise it will move like this, and then finally it will stable to this point B. This is our next equilibrium point. Now I will dictate first three step I have dictated. Now this you understood. Now this is our deaccelerating area, this is our accelerating area. Okay. Here P is greater than Pm. Okay. If these both areas are equal, then the system is stable. Now listen, first three things we have dictated. Consider a synchronous motor connected in infinite bus. Initially the motor is supplied by mechanical load Pm0 while operating at an angle of del 0. The speed is synchronous speed, neglecting losses. Power input is equal to mechanical load supplied. If the load on the motor is suddenly increased to Pm1, this sudden load demand will made by the motor by giving up its stored kinetic energy to the motor. Therefore, motor slows down. Means speed decreases. The torque angle increases from del 0 to del, while del increases when the electrical power supplied equals till the electrical power supplied equals the mechanical power demand at point B. So del goes on increasing, so P increases up to Pm. Next Pm. Okay. P is increases, P1 is equal to Pm1. It is our new equilibrium point as B. Okay. Since the motor is deaccelerating, the speed however is less than ns at B, hence the torque angle del increases further to del 2 where electrical power P is greater than Pm1, but n is equal to ns at point C. At that this point, at last point where C point, at C point ns is equal to n is equal to ns, because their del is locked. At point C, further increase of del is arrested as P is greater than Pm1 and n equal to ns. The torque angle starts decreasing till del 1 reach at point B, but due to fact that till point B is reached, P is still greater than the Pm1. Speed is more than ns. Okay, we have seen this. Okay, we have seen this, speed is greater than ns. Okay, while moving from C to B, hence del decreases further till point A is reached where n is equal to ns, but Pm1 greater than Pe. The cycle of oscillation continues till new equilibrium point. Okay, till new equilibrium point, but due to damping in the system that include friction and losses, the rotor is brought to the new operating point B with speed n is equal to ns. In figure 8.3, ABD represent deceleration and the area BCE acceleration. The motor will reach the stable operating point B only if the accelerating energy A1 represented by BCE equals the deaccelerating area A2 represented by ABD. Okay. Here it should be, here one correction is there, ये इसमें here it should be A1 and here it should be A2, क्योंकि यहाँ पे लिखते समय इन्होंने this is our deaccelerating area, this is our accelerating area. So accelerating area is equal to deaccelerating area. Okay, so we can correct this. We can correct this here. Represented, I will remove this. Accelerating energy represented by BC equals the deaccelerating energy represented by ABD. Okay. Now, following points are to be noted with regard to the change in the torque angle whenever disturbance occurs. You understood na this? How it moves from A to B, how it moves to A to B, B to C, then at C speed is equal to synchronous speed, then from C to B and then B to A. It continues, okay, it continues till it stabilize at certain point, and that point is B point, new equilibrium point, where Pm is equal to Pe and speed is equal to synchronous speed. Okay. The following point are to be noted with regard to the change in torque angle whenever a disturbance occurs. There is no change in torque angle when the speed of the rotor is synchronous speed. है ना? We have seen at point C, when speed is equal to synchronous speed, there is no change in torque angle. Okay. The angle increases in case of motor if Pm is greater than Pe. The mechanical output is more than the electrical input and the speed goes down. That means N decreases. Ns, speed decreases. Okay. The angle decreases if the speed is more than the synchronous speed. The angle decreases if the angle del decreases. We have seen at point C. Angle decreases if speed is greater than the synchronous speed. Okay. Angle decreases. Okay. Thank you very much. In next lecture we will see application of equal area criteria.